The clashes have erupted between Greek police and protesters opposing austerity measures demanded by that country's international lenders in exchange for fresh bailout funds. The rally turned violent as police tried to disperse protesters marching on the Parliament building in the capital, Athens. The demonstration came in the wake of a planned 24-hour strike, which affected the country's transport systems and public offices. This is the first general walkout since Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras came to power in January. Back then, Tsipras accepted a 3-year, €86 billion bailout under the threat of a eurozone exit. He came to power promising to end austerity, but later agreed with the bailout, which he called a painful compromise to avoid bankruptcy and stay in the euro. Well, to discuss that further, we're now joined Mr. Mark Thornton, who is a senior fellow at the Mises Institute, and he's joining us live now via Skype from Alabama. Sir, thanks very much for joining us here on Press TV. Do you think that Mr. Tsipras made a mistake by signing up to this bailout package?
Well, Mr. Tsipras is a politician, and politicians lie and they break their promises. We know what the problem is. We know what the solution is. And the Greek leader basically wants to kick the can down the road, as well as the European leaders in Germany and France and elsewhere. They want to kick this problem that they've created, and they want to paper it over with loans and bailouts so that they'll leave their problems that they created to the next generation of politicians to solve. So it's basically an exercise in kicking the can, kicking the problem down into the future.
And obviously, the Greek people are making their thoughts known very clearly through this strike action. Do you think that at any point Mr. Tsipras may reflect on what he has done?
Well, I think he has a lot of reflection to do. But it's not just the Greek people here. This is a union-led violent protest. Most Greeks were not engaged in violent behavior, and most of Greeks disagreed with the idea of having protests and using violence, destroying property, and they're hurting a lot of businesses that are very upset because they're losing money as a result of this. And of course, the tourist trade, which is one of Greece's only outside sources of funds, is completely hampered by this. It's down tremendously, and currently tourists in Greece are stuck without transportation, without access to museums, and without access to their funds in some cases. And so it's very, very hurtful. And I think this is a minority of public union members who are selfishly trying to maintain wage rates for themselves that are far too above what Greece can actually afford. And so I think that they're a minority, and I disagree with their use of violent tactics in burning buildings and setting things on fire.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there at that. But of course, as always, Mr. Thornton, we do appreciate your insight. That was Mr. Mark Thornton, who would be speaking to us live from Alabama.